As lockdown begins to ease around the world, we are forcibly reminded that self-isolation and quarantine have not resolved any of our major challenges. Blinking in the bright light of day, we need to try and think clearly about how we might reorder our priorities. As it turns out, one of humanity's oldest innovations is key to securing the future for all of us. Farming is an ancient activity with huge impact on human demography, the spread of other species and their genetics, the Earth's atmosphere, and the cultures of the world. It is still the fundamental basis for societies across the globe because we all need to eat. Currently, agricultural activities account for about 30% of global greenhouse emissions, and agricultural inputs and products constitute the bulk of world trade. Farming is the most local and the most global of all our activities. Yet modern industrial agriculture is degenerating soils, polluting water systems, and damaging the world's ecosystems. It's literally eating the planet. We are undermining the environmental resources on which we depend and creating intergenerational inequality on a grand scale as we strive to feed ourselves. Before COVID-19 hit, the UK was already sleepwalking into a public health crisis because of the poor quality of diets. The country imports most of what it eats and produces less fruit and vegetables than in the past because the returns to farmers have been so poor. An unhealthy cycle of poor quality, industrially produced food and underpaid farmers is undermining the resilience of the food system, as well as the health of the ecosystems on which food production depends. In the Global South, a similar cycle results in hunger, environmental degradation, and costly food imports. Africa spends more than $65 million a year importing food, including foodstuffs that can be produced locally. One way to tackle this knot of ecosystem degradation, poor food, and underpaid farmers would be to implement regenerative agriculture on a large scale. There are many types of regenerative agriculture because each has to be adapted to local conditions and environments. But minimally, the aim is to generate healthy agricultural products, sequester carbon, enhance biodiversity and soil health, and improve farmer livelihoods. Effective implementation has to involve farmers, value chain businesses, consumers, civil society organizations, and scientists in innovative coalitions to support wider adoption. Each group or set of stakeholders will potentially have different values and concerns, and they all have to be involved. What is key is to restore natural capital and the ecosystem services that flow from them, and enhance human health and well-being, as well as that of the planet. Many policies and initiatives already exist that can form the basis for more innovative and transformative approaches to regenerative agriculture. For example, the UK's 25-year Environment Plan is committed to the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and agrochemicals, and to paying farmers for public goods and environmental enhancement through the regeneration of natural capital. Sequestering carbon in trees and soils, enhancing habitats for pollinators, restoring peatlands and improving public access to the countryside are the products of farming for which farmers should be paid. In Kenya, water from Mount Kenya and the Upper Tana River Basin feeds farming, urban centres, hotels, national parks, and hydropower generation. Community organisations can be paid to restore the critical ecosystems on which their livelihoods and those of other stakeholders depend. Water companies in other parts of the world pay farmers to use less fertiliser and pesticide, and to grow crops to manage floods and leaching. These innovative approaches are not just about preventing bad practices. Rather, they are about restoring and regenerating the public assets and natural resources on which we all depend. The benefits that grow from supporting farmers and local communities in this way not only provide clean air and water for all of us, but sustain the energy, tourism, and food sectors and the livelihoods which flow from them. As we emerge from lockdown, let's commit to focusing investment on climate, ecosystems, and food production. Let's support our farmers with new means to understand, manage, and regenerate our natural capital assets. And let's build innovative, multi-stakeholder institutions to make that possible. It's not just that our food production should not be at the cost of the environment, but that it should be tailored to regenerating it, providing the resources future generations will need. Farmers are one of our oldest innovations, and they should also be recognised amongst our newest heroes. The IGP is working on regenerative agriculture through its Prosperity Collab in Kenya and its Transforming Tomorrow initiative. To find out more about our work, please go to seriouslydifferent.org.